Before today's video, it might be a good idea for you to jump in my free Discord server. It's a great place to build and share your crypto knowledge and connect with like-minded, ambitious individuals. It's for people of all experiences, whether you're a crypto newbie or a seasoned professional. So jump in and network with me and an ever-growing community of intellectuals. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I want to discuss a few things. We can see here on the right what the agenda for today is. I want to quickly touch on current market sentiment in crypto and look at the history of Bitcoin's price chart to discuss an interesting pattern from the past. Then I want to explore some potential catalysts we have coming up for crypto, and finally, arguably the most important part of the video, what you should be doing right now in order to make the most money in this bull cycle. So market sentiment right now is pretty low. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out, and I've measured this in many different ways. Ultimately, it's reflected in the price of Bitcoin. We can see a slow bleed out in the last week, down about 4-5%, and there's been a lot of sideways movement in the last month or so. Consequently, alts have also been performing terribly. We've seen a lot of strong fundamental tokens like Bitsensor, for example, down between 50 and 75% from their recent highs. And certain sectors like gaming have been hit ridiculously hard. It seems only memes are still holding strong and providing degens with good returns. But aside from that, it's also reflected on the views both my channel and others have been getting on YouTube. The general audience seems to have either lost interest or got bored, and I have noticed other YouTubers are also showing similar data in recent weeks. We can see that by looking at Google Trends, we've been around half as popular in terms of searches when compared to only a few months back. The same is applied to communities such as in my Discord server. It's a lot quieter now compared to only a few months back. There used to be messages and conversations flying around left, right and center. On Twitter, I'm also noticing a lot more negativity and fear-mongering tweets. People are panicking and so on and so forth. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index suggests that we are in a neutral state right now, but this is one of the reasons that I'm not really a fan of this index, and it should only be used loosely in conjunction with other indicators, not on its own, because it definitely does not feel like a neutral state right now. I do want to say that this is all pretty normal, guys. Honestly, crypto is such a weird investment sector. You only get extreme ends of the spectrum. A green candle or breaking all-time high is, we're so back and we're all gonna make it. But a red candle or prolonged sideways negative action, and it's panic stations, FUD getting spread, people wanting to sell out. Luckily, there's experienced heads around like myself and others who are here to hopefully steady the ship and help provide some perspective. Let's take a look at the all-time Bitcoin price chart. What I'm going to discuss is how long after each halving it took for Bitcoin to increase significantly. Now, a significant increase is pretty subjective. Obviously, it depends on the price of Bitcoin through the years, and what would have been significant at the time would obviously have changed as time went on. For consistency in this video, we'll say how soon after the halving does it take for Bitcoin to increase by 50%. Looking at the first halving, which occurred on the 28th of November 2012, we can see that Bitcoin closed at a price of $12. And for it to increase significantly by 50%, it took only 1 month. We can see in January 2013, it closed at a price of $20. So there was a 1 month gap in between the significant increase. And also I want to point out, I know that we said we're going to settle on 50% being significant, but just look at what happened after. The green candle just absolutely exploded. But just for the purpose of this video, obviously Bitcoin was a lot more volatile back then. So yeah, just something to note in mind that the 50% increase isn't the end. So moving on to the second halving, which happened on July 9th, 2016, Bitcoin closed at a price of $624. And then it took around 4 months before the end of the year, and it closed at a price of $966. Then resultantly, we can see the green candles again, like I just mentioned. I mean, look at that. Wow. So the third halving, which happened in the last cycle on 11th of May 2020, Bitcoin closed at a price of around 9.5 grand. Then it took 4.5 months for it to rise up by 50%. October, November 2020 time, closing about 13.8k, or the subsequent month going up to 19.7k. So yeah, 4.5 months before the rise, and then obviously, like I keep mentioning, look at these green candles. We just kept rising. So the pattern that we are seeing here is that the time frame between the Bitcoin halving and its significant price increase is increasing from cycle to cycle. And obviously this is to be expected as the volatility of Bitcoin is decreasing year on year and it becomes more and more stable. But after the first halving, it took around about 1 month. The second halving, it was around 3 to 4 months. And the third halving took between 4.5 to 5 months. We know the saying, past performance isn't indicative of future performance. We know that. But sometimes all we can go off is past data to try and make predictions. So moving on to this year and this cycle, Bitcoin closed at around 60 grand back in April 19th. If we are to assume that this significant rise trend continues, we can expect from previous data to be pushing around about a $90,000 Bitcoin after at least 5 or 6 months, maybe even longer, which would be going into Q4 this year around September, October time, possibly more. And if the trend continues, this will only be the initial leg up. We saw the subsequent huge green candles that followed the initial 50% increase. We could reach $100,000, burst past it in 2025 and rise up. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of Bitcoin price predictions for this cycle. I've seen 100K, obviously, we've seen 120, 150, even $200,000. Judging off previous data, we cannot rule it out. How probable it is varies from person to person. There's also a technical theory in crypto where it says that the longer the sideways action, the bigger the explosion upwards. And if this is the case, I'm more than happy for us to continue this sideways movement we've had for some time. I want to put out there that there's no guarantee of anything that I'm saying here. I'm simply analysing past performance to try and give us some perspective on where we are in the market right now, whilst also making some educated guesses or predictions for the future. Something else to point out as well, Bitcoin has never ever had an instance where it breaks its all-time high in a cycle before the halving. This is leading to more diverse predictions. Is it bearish? Does that mean that we've seen the top and it's already priced in for this cycle? Is it bullish? Does that mean we're going to rocket like never before and have unprecedented returns on Bitcoin going forward? Or does it mean a potential double top scenario like in the previous cycle? Questions like this you should always consider and think about, as it can help influence your general thesis. Always try and go for a range of opinions. I've mentioned multiple times in my Discord server to my community that I think that we're in for a sideways summer. We'll have some green, some red. Alts may not move as much as expected, and it seems to be a dreamland for degen meme traders. I'm however happy to be proven wrong though. So what can be the potential catalyst for Bitcoin to take the next leg up and start pushing for $100,000? Well, this hinges on the Federal Reserve and what they decide to do with the interest rates. We had some positive data come out in the last week with inflation data coming in below market expectations. Should this continue over the next few months, in the future FOMC meetings, which are in July and September I believe, we can hope for them to finally begin to cut the interest rates. This would make sense to me as it links in with the next potential catalyst, the US general elections. Without getting too political, both sides know that by cutting interest rates and increasing spending, decreasing people's debts and payments, it would get them on their side and overall be beneficial to the economy. I know that Jerome Powell is saying that the US election will not have an impact on the interest rates, but I would take that with a pinch of salt. I've mentioned the S&P 500's historical results in election years already on this channel, and as you can see from the data, it's pretty positive. Donald Trump has also been coming out lately with a lot of pro-crypto propaganda, and I've seen him dubbed the crypto president as well. So should he get elected in, it could be seen as even more of a boost for this space. Another potential catalyst will be when trading finally begins on the Ethereum ETF. We already know it got approved, but trading hasn't actually begun yet. This is expected to launch by July the 2nd according to a Bloomberg analyst, and when it does, when we see more and more volume and capital being pumped into Ethereum, then we can expect the price to rise and subsequently bring much more needed positivity and optimism back into the space and into other altcoins. This all ties in with the technical data that we've been seeing, so if the macroeconomic data in the real world plays in our favour and the technical data we've discussed continues its trend, we can expect a very strong year end for Bitcoin, pushing into 2025 where we see it potentially breaking through the $100,000 barrier and subsequently getting the alt season that we've been preparing ourselves for. We know by now that there is a delay in between when Bitcoin tops and the money begins to flow into Ethereum, then into blue chips, and then into the rest of the altcoins. If you believe that we have topped already, and I've seen that there are a few of you, I don't know what you're still doing here. Take your money out, whatever's left of it, and wait until the next bet. If you believe that we still have a lot of upside, you believe in the catalysts upcoming and 2025 being a huge year of returns, buy your coins. It's short, it's snappy, and it's almost pointless to say, but if you think the entire market is going to go up, more so than the prices we're at now, just buy. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying chuck your money in blindly. I always say dollar cost average and leave dry powder on the side. But find your high conviction coins. You may already be invested in them, or they may be providing you with an enticing entry. But I don't know why you would be selling now, especially if you're in red. There's really not much more to it, guys. In crypto, there's a habit of people overcomplicating things, analysis, strategies, data, charts. The simpler you keep it sometimes, the better. If you believe that alt season is yet to come and prices will be higher at some point in the next 12 months than now, then keep accumulating your projects. But yeah guys, that's today's video wrapped up. Just a quick one, hopefully putting some of your minds at ease for those who are new here and maybe reaffirming some knowledge for those with experience. If you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like, comment and subscribe. I'm really grateful for how the channel has been growing. Also, please join my Discord. It's a lot easier for us all to have direct conversations with one another and it's completely free. So yeah, until the next one, take care guys.